Hi, good morning, everyone. Coming after two vivacious women is a task in itself. So pardon me if I'm a little jittery speaking here. I'll talk about three learnings in my entrepreneurial journey so far, and hope that you take something from it today. I've often sit back, reflect on where I have faltered, where I have failed, and try to take some learnings out of it. So the first thing which I will speak on is fail more often. So the question which comes to your mind is, why should I fail more often? Because every time you think of failure, it's a taboo. Right since our childhood, we were told that you cannot flunk in an exam. I so vividly remember that in those good old days, you had boards in your 10th exam. And parents used to make you feel as if this is the last exam you will ever give on planet Earth, okay? And we used to prepare for our 10th exams. And once that was over, the next milestone was your 12th boards. And we were always told that once you pass out your 12th, life is a cakewalk. Everything is going to be absolutely smooth for you because you get into the university you want to, and that's the ultimate exam. And of course, one of the incidences, and highly, my parents, there was cable TV back then, and they used to watch it sitting right next to the TV so that I don't get disturbed studying inside. And that was the whole aura which was created for your 12th exam. I today look back and I realize every year is a milestone. Every year brings you so many challenges. So it is, you should not really take a specific year to be the milestone of your life, because every year is going to define what your next year is going to look like. When we started Matrix in 2015, and I passed out my chemical engineering in 2008, and I failed in almost 6 different products we started in between this, in this span. There were products which were ahead of time. There were products which were not marketed well. And there were so many failures. To starting a product and being today 3rd largest in world in the specific product we manufacture at Matrix, it's been a long journey for us. Even today, we end up failing in a lot of processes, lot of products. But we look back on what those failures actually taught us. And I can tell you, every failure, when you get time, you sit back, you evaluate, you will realize that all these failures had such good learnings out of it. Very recently, somebody just told me, we were facing some problems at work, and I happened to interact with somebody, and she told me, Kunal, if it's not life and death, you should sleep peacefully back home. And every time a problem occurs, I keep asking myself, is it really life and death? If it is not, then everything has a possible solution for it. And after every problem, after every challenge, when you sit back, you reflect on it, you will actually start realizing that good, it happened. I probably got so much of learning from that. So that's my first lesson which I've learned in all these years. My second lesson is ask. Seldom we are told, we are embarrassed about asking for help. We probably feel a little humiliated about asking for things. We'll give you a very quick example. Last week, I generally use backpacks. So my wife, who's a little more fashion savvy, told me, Kunal, backpacks are pretty old-fashioned. Why don't you buy a branded bag? And of course, she selected a fairly Italian brand, and I selected because I could pronounce the name of it. So I said, this looks fine. And she told me the cost, and the cost was humongous. And I said, it's too expensive. Can we ask for a discount? And she was flabbergasted. She said, Kunal, you're such a Marwadi. I mean, how could you ask for a discount in a brand like this? It's not available. They don't give you discounts on this. That's a global policy. I said, can you just ask for it? She said, no, I'll feel absolutely embarrassed if I ask for a discount there. I said, can you give me your number? And I will ask for it if you are embarrassed about it. So I texted the salesperson that, I plan to buy this bag and can I have some discount? They said, sir, it's a global policy. We don't offer you a discount. But as a matter of fact, I will offer you some goodies with it. So I told my wife that they're going to offer, and she quickly jumped up and said, I'll keep the goodie. So she forgot that she was not willing to ask for it. But she is now more than willing to accept those goodies and take it back. So the point is, more often than not, we don't ask for help. I log on to social media, I look out for people, and today I've connected with thousands of people. I make it a point to connect with at least one new person every day. And over the years, people I've connected with, they've become my colleagues at work. Either they are my mentors, either they are my advisors. Some of them have become thick friends. And this is only reason because I could keep connecting with people. A lot of you young audience here, you've long way to go. And one thing is, we often don't ask a friend of ours that this is where I am not able to understand. Can you help me understand this? We feel probably embarrassed, shy about asking. And of course, as we grow into matured individuals, this asking habit of ours further diminishes because we are meant to know everything. As a founder of a company which has today 500 people, I go back and when people pose certain problems to me, I ask them, what would you have done? And they come back to a solution. I said, probably this is what I would have done as well. You don't have answers for everything, but I think if you ask around, and with my experience, if I've connected with 10 people, at least 8 have come back and helped us. One example, and the reason probably I'm here standing and speaking is, when we started Matrix, we did at least 3 years of R&D on manufacturing of vitamin E. We started a facility, and when we started the facility, it was not running the way we expected it to be. What happened in lab scale never actually went on to the plant scale. I, in my mind, decided to sell off and give my GMAT and fly back to US. But I thought, let me give it one last shot. Let me probably seek few mentors around, talk to few people. I remember probably having met a professor who said he has expertise in these technologies, but he was old enough. So I reached out to him and I asked him, sir, I'm kind of stuck here and can you give me help and can you come to India? He said, I wouldn't come to India because I remember those days, Malaysian airline had an aircraft which just went down Pacific Ocean. And he said, I wouldn't damn come to Asia because I'm 87 years old. Somehow managed to convince him, somehow managed to get him here. And I spent good 5 days with him on learning about anything and everything. And most of my teachings today, or most of my learnings today are thanks to those 5 days which I spent with Dr. Lewis. And we had a brief understanding of how we should be going about it. We stopped the facility, came back to lab, and again went back after 6 months to have created a facility today, which is 3rd largest in world. If I had not asked for help back then, if I had quit back then, of course I wouldn't be here today. So asking for help, I think, is the easiest thing, and with the whole digital era we live in, asking is so much easier. You can pick up any social media app and you have people, not just in India, anywhere across the world, you have people whom you can just seek for advice, make them your mentor, go and talk to them about it, whether it is personal problem, whether it is professional problem, whether it is a technology you are seeking. I think the solutions are all out there, but all you need to have is an understanding that if I go out there, somebody will come back and reciprocate to what I'm asking. Third thing which I'd like to speak about today is find problems around. More often than not, we don't look out for problems. Everybody wants to create an entrepreneurship bucket list of what I want to do, but we seldom look at the problems around, and probably that's where there is a business idea which is right there and we're not able to see it. In 2018, when our vitamin E business was picking up fairly well, a magazine wrote about us that this is a one-product company, and probably they may never have a different product because, of course, to create one product, wherein there's just 5 companies in the world which are manufacturing this. But they said there could not be any other product in this company. So it kind of gave me little sleepless nights that at all of 31, would there be just one product which I would work on? And wouldn't there be another product which Matrix will come out? So I was sitting with a farmer friend of mine. We have a unit at Paitan, and there's a lot of farming around. And in 2017-18, there was drought in Marathwada. So I was sitting with him, and we were in general discussing about problems which farming faces. And he says, Kunal, if there is a crop which requires less water, and you have a selling price which is fixed, no farmers would commit suicide. And I went back with that thought, and I said, why don't we do something from farming? Okay. And vitamin E is an antioxidant, so we looked at some other antioxidants which can be done. And we came across a product which is derived from a herb called rosemary. And we looked out, and people said it is not grown in India. It is a Mediterranean crop. You will find this in Morocco, Tunisia. I said, no harm trying that in doing it in Marathwada. So we got some plants. It has about 30-40 acres in Ooty, because when English Britishers left us, they had rosemary planted there because they wanted it to be used in marinating chicken back then. So we went there, we took a few saplings, we got it to Aurangabad, and we planted at 3 different locations. 80% of it died. 20% were there alive. And we started with nursery of rosemary. To cut things short, today we are on 100 acres of rosemary in and around Paitan. And we plan to get that to 1,000 acres in coming 3 years' time. This is the problem which we identified sitting with somebody, and now we see a business model out of it. I have few friends of mine who are doing phenomenally well for themselves. Again, one quick example here. A friend of mine, she did a PhD from US, came back, working in a very large petrochemical company, and we were discussing about, Kunal, I want to start up some entrepreneurial journey for myself, and can we discuss on ideas? And while we were discussing, the Zoom conked off, and she called me and she said, there's some problem with my laptop, and it's just not working. So the next day, she said, Kunal, I bought a new laptop, and here we are talking again. I said, what do you do with your old laptop now? And I said, shouldn't this be something which we work on? This was in the first COVID phase, when everybody was hunting for laptops, and schools were online, and offices were online. And I said, the amount of e-waste which we would generate, where does it all go? This all started when in the first phase of COVID, and she just sent me a business card saying that, Kunal, I have actually ended up starting a company which will do e-waste management. She will bring her all her PhD work in material sciences, and she will extract metals out of it. She will extract plastics out of it, and she will start doing an e-waste management. She's also got hold of contracts from large IT companies. What started as a very small idea, it probably would have not gone anywhere. After a few phone calls, I started getting bored about it. But she kept on pestering on it that, for me, I really feel for this problem. I really feel this could be a large business idea. And now she has created a company which probably, I'm sure, in 10 years will become a very large company. It all started with one small problem. Again, a quick example. I know somebody who realized that waste management in cities like Aurangabad, in other municipal corporations, is such a big problem. And they started being these waste collectors, and they made a model out of it. Not just they've implemented in Aurangabad, they've implemented in, I think, about 50 different cities, and they're working with 400 different villages. Somebody is working in artificial intelligence. Somebody is working in green cover. With the whole OTT platform available, there are platforms available for artists, for singers, for dancers. When we used to write our slam book way back in our 8th and 10th standard, and there was what you want to become, and I said, I want to be a chemical engineer. Why? Because my father owned a chemical company with no understanding in mind about chemical engineering. And I kept telling people I love chemistry and that is the reason I want to do chemical engineering. I landed in my chemical engineering and realized there's only 4 chemistry subjects. Out of 50 subjects I want to learn, and there's just 4 damn chemistry subjects. And this is where most of us have thought processes which are embedded, that if my father is an orthopedic surgeon, I would probably become an orthopedic surgeon. There is no harm doing it unless your gut feeling allows you to do it. If you get that calling from inside that this is really what I want to do, this is what I feel for, I think I've seen people who've done way different from what they've studied, and they've become very good in what they're doing right now. So that inside calling, that gut feeling is absolutely necessary. I did end up working with my father for a few years, realizing this is not something probably what I can do for next 3 decades of my life. I quit my family business, came out, and at that point of time, everybody started questioning me that, what is wrong with you? And I said, I just don't feel like going to office. Every day I landed up late to my office, seeing my father has cut half my salary. I realized this is not going to work. I came out of that and started doing multiple things, later on realizing that working on waste product of one industry and creating a valuable product is something which I relate to. And that's how the journey of Matrix started. So looking out for solutions, there are, today in this era, there is so many opportunities available. I believe, and I firmly believe in this, that next 2 decades are India's decades. We have the right opportunity, we have the right manpower, we have the right intellect, we have the right masses available. And this is not just in manufacturing. You want to become an actor, you have so much of array available. You want to become anything which you love doing. You want to play sports. Anything and everything, I think the opportunity is there right here. And hence, my theme for today was stay hungry, stay foolish, and stay in India. I would leave you with 3 thoughts, and which I firmly believe. I've heard it from somewhere, but I really liked when I listened to it. That surround yourself with people whose eyes lit up when you are in front of them. Second, after every mountain you climb, there is always a top of a mountain is bottom of another mountain. So keep climbing. And third, the most important thing, slowly is the fastest way of achieving what you ever want to achieve in your life. I would leave you with these examples and these thoughts of mine. Thank you so much.